Welcome once again to the Novice Talk podcast.
That's it.
I'm founding host William, 10th floor Calaco.
And I'm Anthony as always.
And today we have with us
Summer Jones,
who is our friend from way back.
Like so far back.
At least 2008.
Like we're talking like middle school lunchroom type stuff. Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. Well, that's actually not what we're talking about. What we are talking about is college today. And how, well, this is why we have Summer on. How do you think that you are different now after your first year of college? And how do you, how did the actual experiences of college change you as a person?
Okay, I feel like I'm definitely more mature, which is something that I didn't think was gonna happen, because I feel like people use college to like go crazy before they like go into the real world. And I feel like I'm the opposite. Like I feel like high school was more crazy, which is like dumb, and I was definitely expecting to be like going crazy, but I didn't, and I'm like so focused on school, so that's like something that I was not expecting.
So what's your major?
Accounting.
So do you want to be an accountant?
Yeah, but the more I like do Pure Barre, like the more I think like I can't imagine myself sitting at a desk for like a full 9 to 5. You know what I mean?
So is that like something that like creeps up in your thoughts all the time? Like,
yeah, like a 9 to 5. Like
yeah.
Everybody that talks to me that knows me really well, and I feel like you guys like even know, like I feel like I'm just not the typical accountant unless you think otherwise. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think
Yeah,
of you as an accountant.
I don't think you as an accountant. Like that just seems like very bland. Like there are people.
That's like the stereotype bland job.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like,
that's
bland
what I mean,
people
yeah.
get that job, and you're not very bland. So.
Yeah, but I really like the school, and I am like really good with math and numbers. Like we had math together a few times.
Well, and you go to USF, University of South Florida.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, but continue.
Yeah, so I don't know, we were like good in math. Like I've always been good in math, and I've always liked math and numbers, and I feel like accounting, like I'm just good at it, and I can't do anything medical because I like get freaked out. So I like can't go that path at all, and I feel like this is like the only path that I can go that has like decent money in it, and I want to have like a stable living. So I feel like
By only path, do you mean like you feel like trapped in this path?
kind of.
I feel like this is gonna be a common theme.
Well,
for
it's
everyone we
we're
talk
all
to.
19 and 20, so like
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Well, so kind of like branching off of that, like if you had a dream job, and like I mean literally dream, like get paid for anything, what would you do?
I would probably be a master trainer for like workout, like maybe Pure Barre, maybe something else, but that's like my ideal job. Like I would love to do that because you get to travel. They like pay for you to travel, and they pay for like all your food and stuff while you're away, and then you just get to like train people in exercise, which I think would be fun.
That's really a job?
Yeah.
Would you do it with Pure Barre or just like in general?
Well, if Pure Barre is like still a thing, and if I like still loved it as much, I would probably do.
We're on again.
Welcome back to Act 2 of this podcast after technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties, but we're back. Sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back with Summer Jones in the studio. Now, we were just, before the technical difficulties getting into, so you were saying that in high school you were so sure of like the major that you wanted to choose, and then as time went on this year, like the doubts started like creeping in.
Yeah, I think just like when I started doing Pure Barre, and like I work with so many girls that only do Pure Barre, but it's because they are like married to people who have like real jobs, that I'm like, oh, this is like a cool job. I get to like work out, wear like workout clothes, and like have a weird schedule that's not like a 9 to 5 like boring job. And so like when I started doing that, I was like, oh, I don't really want to like sit at a desk. Like I can't even picture myself like sitting at a desk for that long.
Do you have friends who like their only plan is to like get married?
I don't think so. I think all of my like girlfriends are real like overachievers. Like they all, like Clarissa is like probably my closest friend, and she wants to be a physician's assistant, so like she's gonna be making a lot of money, I feel like. And I don't know, she goes to UF, so she's like really smart. And then I feel like all my other friends have like big plans. Like Abby wants to move to New York and like all of that. So I don't think I have any friends that just want to get married. I feel like that'd be my ideal job.
Yeah, that's your, is it?
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't want to like waste I feel like I try to stay busy as possible. So being like a stay-at-home mom, I don't even like want to have kids. I don't know if that's like a topic that we should get into.
Do you want to have kids?
No, I don't want to have kids.
So yeah, then what would you do? I guess.
Well, I
Just,
mean,
like,
it sounds like we've already like found like your perfect path. Get married and then just pure bar it.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. Because even if I like wasn't a master trainer, like you still, if I worked like a decent amount at Pure Barre, like it's still income. You know what I mean? Like
that's
if
like a very feasible option.
Yeah.
I think like that's something that's possible. I mean, obviously you want to like, but you're also the type of person that wants growth and like you care about who you are as a person. You're not just like, you know what I mean? Like you don't want to just have someone carry you. I feel like maybe you do. I don't know, but
No, I don't think so. I don't know. I'm just so busy all the time, and I have like big plans. I had big plans like in accounting. Like I wanted to own my own business like after working for a business for like 5 years, but I don't know. I feel like it's just a lot of work, and I think about like how much I'm already missing out on, and then like if I just take that path, I feel like I'll never.
What do you mean missing out on?
Like I feel like I'm so focused on school and being successful. Like I always try to push myself to be like the best, and I like do really well in school, but I'm also like studying a lot more than everyone else is. Like I'm not going out as much. Like I'm not doing fun things like everyone else is.
What do you think you're getting for that? Like do you think that's like a proper like trade-off, like what you give up in terms of like leisure? Do you think that like your advantages in the classroom merit that?
No.
No.
Because I feel like a lot of people live the party lifestyle and still like make it out and have great jobs. You know, like they still do like what they want to do in college and like still make it out. But I feel like if I tried to do that, it wouldn't work out for me. Does that make sense? Like that's just what my brain says. Like it's like, no, you can't do that.
yeah,
So
that makes sense.
We don't, like I always knew those. I mean, sure, everyone knows someone like this who would like burn the candle on like four ends somehow. Like they would have like a job, and they would be like, you know, valedictorian of their school, and they would like do coke every weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Like someone who was like crazy like that, who just had so much energy. And they would always have like some weird boyfriend who would like drive to her house and like yell at her. Like they had like a crazy life like that, but like you don't know where they got all the energy from.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then you also know those people who like are like completely book bound and like never leave their room and are always studying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you also know people who don't give a shit about their grades.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people like that at FSU. Like who like you don't know
I feel
how
like you guys are in like the place where people go to college and stay there forever.
Oh my
and
God.
like never make it out of that world.
Yeah.
And a big thing that's tied into it is like social media, like influence. I swear.
Oh my god.
What you were getting at with like, I feel like I should be doing other things or whatever you're saying.
Yeah.
I should be doing more. I feel the same way with like, I see kids at Florida State like on my Discover or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And they're like doing crazy things with a bunch of hot girls. And it's like, should I be like doing that? Like that? And I really like 2 days ago. I mean, I get off social media like once a week, probably every like 2 months, and I got off it and I realized that is the source of a lot of the stress in my life because
I completely agree.
I do what I like, and then I'll start doing what I like and focusing on that, and I'll look through social media and really feel like, oh shit, what I'm doing isn't what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
I should be like going crazy.
I should be living it up. Yeah, I agree.
You should seriously get off it like permanently.
I am going to like 100%.
I haven't used it now since like May.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't used anything, and like I don't feel that way at all about missing out. I don't have FOMO at all.
Yeah.
Because like I look outside and like usually I look outside and people are doing less than me because it's not like people who are doing like these crazy things, you know, that merit them like posting it for more people to see. Like average people aren't doing that much.
Yeah.
You know?
And another thing was I've found I don't like to party that much. Obviously I don't.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing now, like with this or other things, are things that I think are fun, and I've just kind of validated myself with that because I've tried those things and I don't like them. So maybe, I mean, unless you like to have a lot of fun, like the stereotypical college fun, I think you should just be like, you do like work really hard at Pure Barre and
that's
like, try
true.
to do
Yeah,
that.
because I like loved working at Pure Barre this summer, and I made like the best friends.
Yeah.
But then I look at like people who are studying abroad and like
Yeah.
just living it up, like they're in a different country and just like having so much fun, like going out all the time, and I'm like, I'm gonna look back when I'm older and be like, what did I even do in college? Like, I just worked and went to school, and I feel like I'm gonna be sad.
Yeah.
But that's just like me saying that to myself, you know? Like, I don't know how I'll actually feel in the future, but I feel like I'm not making any like super memorable, like, I'm not having those times where
That's
I'm
like-
gonna,
I totally feel you though.
I feel like that's like a balance that like everyone has to strike, like how much you want to like have like memorable experiences and fun, and how much you want to plan for your future.
yeah.
Well, I remember with Will B, I talked about this like a long time ago, about like, so if you live your life by like the day, then you're never gonna get anywhere, because if you're only planning to get to the end of the night, then you're never gonna be able to build anything.
Right.
But then if you live your life by like the year, then you'll never have any fun, because like you'll just be
Yeah.
always planning for the future, and then you'll die before you even have
I
fun.
feel like that's what I do. Like, I always just think about the future. And I think that's, like, school especially places that pressure on us. Like, in high school, I feel like they're always like, college. And now that we're in college, they're like, jobs. And I'm like, why can't we just, I don't know. Like, I just kind of want to slow down. Especially because I, like, dual enrolled in high school. And I'm, like, graduating early. And they're like, even that I'm graduating early, like, I meet with my advisor. And she's like, you're taking 4 classes. You should be taking 5. And I'm like, why? Like, why do I want to graduate in 2 years? You know, like, I don't want to rush this time in my life. Like, why do I want to get a job before I can legally drink? That's going to happen anyways, because I'm just young for my grade. And I like, don't want to start working when I'm, like, 20.
There's that academic career stress on you, and the stress I know as well is, and you were alluding to it, was, like, people that are older than us are always saying, like, you're in, like, the best time of your life. But, like, how do you define that?
Yeah.
Because, like, I think there have been better times in my life. And I'm sure there'll be better times. Like, why is this right now? Well, not, like, I love being 19. Like, I think being 19 is great, but, like, what makes college so great? And
I'm 15.
Well, you're 15. You'll understand in 4 years, but,
yeah.
I don't know. I just think people really put stress on, like, you're in the best time of your life. College is so great, but it's not great for everyone. It's, like, sometimes it's just, like,
and that stresses me out so much, because I'm like, I'm really not having, like, the best time ever. Like, I go out when there's, like, football games, and I go out when there's, like, when I was in a sorority, like, when we would do, like, the big bid day stuff and all of that, but, like, that's the only time that I would, like, go out. Like, I wouldn't just go to a bar on, like, a regular day. Like, just to go, unless there was, like, an event going on. You know what I mean? That's just not me. I don't know.
It seems like the best, like, pastime you could, because, like, if you're, like, trying to, like, balance, like, planning for your future, working for your future, but also, like, having fun at the moment, is if you found something, like, I think you found it with Pure Barre, kind of, like, if you found something that you actually enjoyed doing in the moment, but then it was also, like, self-improvement at the same time. Like, if you're someone who just, like, loves doing math problems, then you're probably gonna, you know, at the same time that you're having fun, also ameliorate your engineering degree career.
Yes. Well, you brought up the sorority thing, and neither of us are in the Greek community, so, like, how was that for you? Was that good, do you think?
I thought it was a lot of fun. Like, I was in it last year, my freshman year of college, and I was in Zeta, and I loved it, like, when I was in it, but then when I was, like, in the group chat, there's, like, a group me for every fraternity and sorority, and, like, there's group me's with my sorority and, like, other fraternities on campus. Like, that's just how it goes. There's, like, a group me for, like, everything, and our specific group me, like, girls would bitch at each other, like, all the time, and it drove me nuts, so I just left. So I, like, wasn't even in our, like, group me, because I was like, this is so annoying. Like, I'm not in this to, like, be petty with other girls that are supposed to be, like, our sister, which is, like, the biggest bullshit ever. Like, I hate that shit so much.
Did you feel above the drama, kind of?
Yeah, well, I was like, there's no point in arguing. Like, I don't know why. They would just argue over stupid stuff, and I was like, this is a group that we're joining, like, voluntarily, and we're paying to be in, and, like, I'm not gonna sit here and, like, argue with these girls that are, like, we're all supposed to be, like, a big family, and I'm like, that's not how I feel. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, it sounds like, did you know girls that were, like, all caught up in it while they were in it?
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Some girls just, like, loved being in Greek life, and, like, some girls were, like, way out of place. Like, some girls thought that they were, like, the best of the best, like, in our sorority, and I'm like, hold on, like, we're not even, like, the best sorority on campus. Like, you need to step back. So that kind of annoyed me. Some girls, like, were too about it. Like, they're like, oh, you can't post this because that's trashy, that's this, that's that. And I'm like, okay, I don't want to argue with you guys about, like, what I can and can't post on social media. Like, that's just dumb. Like, I don't want those rules. I loved it, and that's not why I dropped it all. But I wasn't in the group chat because I didn't like the drama. And I had, like, a position, which I loved because I felt like I was actually doing something good. And I was like, oh, this is a resume builder, like, blah, blah, blah. And I felt like a big part of my chapter. But, like, mostly dropped because of financial reasons. I'm not going to pay to be in that. And I'm living, like, further away. I'm living in downtown Tampa next year.
That's a drive.
Which is going to be fun. But it's a drive. Yeah. So I don't have the time or the money to be in it. Like, I'm not going to drive to chapter at 9 o'clock on a Sunday night to, like, that's 30 minutes away. Yeah. I just don't have the time for that.
But if you did have the time and money, would you still be in it?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Like, it was fun, and I liked being with, like, the group of girls. Like, that's kind of why I'm, like, nervous. Like I was mentioning earlier, that I don't really, like, go out that much, and I don't, like, I'm more focused on school, like, than anything else. I feel like now that I'm not in the sorority, like, I'm really isolating myself even more, and I don't live close to campus anymore. So that's making me nervous.
True. That sounds like an obstacle that you're just going to have to overcome. But, like, it's definitely overcomable.
Yeah.
It's just going to be harder. I don't know, because I know, like, a lot of girls that I know who, like, they weren't really, like, about being Greek, but, like, that's the one thing that, like, really, like, got them, how, like, they didn't know as many people.
Yeah.
I remember certain people that we know, like, complaining about, like, all my friends have, like, all these friends that they just paid for, now they got, like, 30 friends, and I've got, like, 2.
Yeah. And it's true. And also, like, even that I dropped, like, I still have those friends, so I don't regret it at all. And I didn't drop because I didn't like it. But, like, it is going to be harder being friends with them because they have, like, their scheduled times and days to hang out when I, like, am going to have to go outside of their schedule. Like, everyone's busy with school. Like, I can't say, like, I'm busy with school. Like, Paige, you went on, like, a date function with me that, like, my friend Paige was in, and she's, mechanical engineering major, and she's like, she took like Calc 3 last semester. Like, she's so smart, she's like ridiculous, and she has a position in Zeta, like one of the biggest positions before like president, and like she just does a ton of stuff. And I felt bad telling her I was dropping because I didn't have like time to be in it when she's like doing the most. Like, she's like crazy. But I don't know, like, that's just, some people can like make time for it. So like, I love her, and I don't think I'll be able to hang out with her because that's like, Zeta stuff is like her social life, and like that's where it ends, you know.
She was cool.
Yeah.
Paige, if you're listening.
Paige, if you're listening to this, shout out to you.
Yeah.
Cassidy, if you're listening, jump in a lake.
Yeah.
That's crazy because that was like, I mean, like, I'm not in a sorority, but I also like wasn't in a fraternity. That's like such a non-part of my life. Like, you can't post this, or like you have to do this, or like you have to show up to this, and this. Like, I remember, I had a solid 4 friends, but like actual friends, like people that I would hang out with. Like, here in Bradenton, I also have about 4 friends that I like actually hang out with. And I just remember, like, I did have like my friends who were in fraternities, and like they were like always like doing stuff for benefit, though. I mean, benefit themselves. They had like a lot of like stuff to keep busy with. But it just seemed like, also like the times like where they were like doing stuff that they didn't want to be doing, especially when they had to go get hazed.
Yeah.
Did you get hazed at all?
No.
Not at all?
So the sorority, especially USF, I think, I mean, the frats still get like hazed a little bit, but it's not like UF or FSU where it's like so much more intense. Like, I don't think anybody's ever died at USF from hazing. Like, it's just not a big thing. Like, USF in particular is like a no hazing school. So like the sororities are like really intense about it, and like you cannot get away with it. Like, if anybody finds out that you're doing it in a sorority, you can't. In a frat, it's different because that's just like their culture.
They probably just make you do like I know with some of the pledge stuff in fraternities, you just do the stuff, like, the dirty work. Like, you're the ones that have to clean up.
Yeah, you just clean up for the parties. Like, that's, like, the most hazing. That's, like... But you don't do, like, the runs for, like, the tailgates. Like, I don't know. That's what, like, the UF guys do. Like, they have to go pick up all the people and take them to, like... Yeah. So that's, like, not a thing because we don't have a stadium on campus. But, like, just stuff like that. Like, that's not a thing.
It's weird at FSU. Like, with fraternity hazing, I heard so many stories from both ends of the spectrum. Like, I remember a story, like, people telling me, like, oh, no, it's not bad. All we have to do is, like, clean apartments. And they're like, okay, you're done. Now you can come drink with us.
Mm-hmm.
And I also heard stories of, like, you got to drink this bottle of whiskey, then smash it on the floor, then plank on it for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, I heard, like, such, like, a wide spectrum of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I remember my twin, which is, like, okay, so I had a guy big, and his little is, like, my twin. And he was, like, at this party that I was at, and he had like a whistle on, and it was like a Baywatch theme party, and like anytime someone blew the whistle he had to do push-ups, and it was like so hot. You know how like frat houses are hot? Have you guys like yeah. So it's like it's so hot in there, and he was like sweating so bad, and he's like totally plastered, probably because they like made him be like really drunk. And he was like doing the push-ups, and someone came over and like held him down like halfway, and I was like about to cry. Like I was like, this is so sad. I'm just like so sensitive.
Yeah, that's
right.
rough.
So I like can't watch stuff like that. Like I can't deal with it. If that like happened in a sorority, I'd be out in 2 seconds. Like I'm just not the type.
Yeah, that's the same.
It's
with
like
me.
boys leading boys. It's like it can't go anywhere.
Yeah, that's for sure. Like if a guy has control of a bunch of other younger guys and he's just like showing off, it's just not good. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not me for sure.
Mm-mm. That's why like Jesse won't do it either. Like he was like, I will never do that. Like I'm not gonna be someone's bitch. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's just
no.
not worth it for me. And like everyone I know, he's like one of the only friends I have that's not in one as well. And
Yeah,
it's
that's
nice to
true.
go to the same school.
But you guys go to like a Greek school. Like
yeah, it's
FSU is like you will not like.
it's like not possible to. I mean, maybe you've experienced it, but it's like you talk to a girl and then you tell her that you're not in Greek life, and it's just like
And she's like, okay,
a few
bye.
points off. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's weird. It's weird how like how like much of a Greek school we are, and how much I didn't feel it.
Really?
Like, yeah. Like
well, it definitely died out. I was there after, you know.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because like that kid died, and like everything, you know, went down the toilet for a long time. Maybe that has something to do with it. But I remember, like in spring semester, like every week, like it was not even in my mind at all. Like I was just busy with other stuff the whole time. I didn't even do much like while I was there. I mean, like I went to school and stuff, but
yeah. Did nothing when I was there at all.
No, I did stuff.
Yeah, you did.
But yeah, like when people have this idea of FSU as like so crazy Greek, and like football season, yeah, but like if you're caught up in like the whole Greek life, then yeah, it is super crazy Greek. But like that, you know, it's one. Well, I mean, like Heritage is like one cul-de-sac in Tallahassee, when like FSU is such a small part of Tallahassee, anyways, and
I think the Greek life there kind of shoves it in your face. Like there are a lot of Greeks. It's just when you go out, like the social scene. Obviously not the academic scene. It's not like there's a bunch of
Right,
Greeks.
yeah.
Maybe like SGA too. I'm trying to get into SGA.
mm-hmm.
They kind of run that too. But besides those two things, like it's very like artistic theater.
Really?
School, yeah.
Well, it's weird how we have that. We have it like so on both ends of the spectrum. Like we have like the weirdest like blue hair art kids, and we also have like muscle tee aviators, letters on every day kids.
Walking in harmony, like it's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Were you the kind of girl who wore her Zeta letters like all the time?
I just wear like t-shirts all the time. So if I had a Zeta t-shirt, like I would probably be wearing it. But like, I don't know. I feel like since USF is such smaller scale Greek, like everyone knows each other, and it felt so high school to me. Like I don't know if that makes sense. It felt like Manatee High School because Manatee is so big, and like USF is such a small college, and like Greek is so small. Like there was like 100 girls in our chapter, and at FSU like 100 girls get accepted every year, you know, like into like a 500 girl sorority. So it's like so much smaller, and I felt like the girls that were in like better sororities would like give me dirty looks if I like wore my letters. So I like didn't like wearing them a lot because I was like, oh, if I'm not wearing like makeup, they're gonna be like, ew, you know?
I definitely
Like that's how I felt.
The small community thing at USF. I mean, I was in Greek life obviously, but just in general, like I would see the same people all the time.
Yeah.
And then at FSU,
And it drives me crazy.
I still see similar people a lot, but like definitely more diverse, like different people all the time. USF is more diverse as well, like as far as like racially.
yeah.
But I think just like seeing more people, FSU, I don't recognize a lot of people. But
Yeah.
I started to recognize people like within weeks at USF.
Yeah.
Very weirdly, like at the dining hall.
Yeah, I
all
see
the
the
time.
same people like all the time.
Yeah.
And I feel like everyone knows each other. Like if you know this person, they know that person. Like it's just it all ties back to.
There was-
Yeah, it's not that way at all.
There was like the hot girl table at the USF dining hall.
Really?
I'm not kidding. It was
Yeah,
really weird.
seriously.
Yeah.
But it's like that was like a freshman thing too.
Yeah, definitely.
And like outside of that, like I don't know, just certain sororities are like so like the girls, they're just mean. Like I
Yeah.
don't know, and it's probably like that everywhere, but I feel like within your own sorority you're supposed to have that support, and like everyone's kind of like focused. Like I don't know if you've ever been on Greek Rank. Have you ever seen that
Yes,
website?
I have.
Girls are like obsessed with that, and I'm like, what does
It
that
doesn't matter.
mean?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, we were ranked like middle tier again. And I'm like, it doesn't matter.
It's
Like
all-
you're in what you're in.
It's all anonymous, and I think other fraternities and sororities like really shit talk the other ones,
Yeah.
like pump them down, you know,
Yeah.
with like fake reviews. So.
Did you ever like get a sense in your sorority that girls were unhappy to be there and they wish they were in other ones?
Yeah, and I felt like that within myself too,
Really?
just because of how like how cliquey everything was and how like statusy everything is at USF. Like there's so little sororities there, like there's only 10, and if you're like not in the best, then you're like the worst, you know, like if you're not in like the top 2 best ones, like you're irrelevant. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get, but like it seems like that's such like a small elite class that like if like the third tier or like a third place sorority really like focused on itself, they could probably like elevate themselves to not being in the toilet anymore.
Yeah, but that's like why I didn't like it, because they're like, oh, like we need to better our sisterhood, like oh we need to do this and this, and I'm like,
Does that just mean
why do we
like?
care?
Does that just mean like prettier girls, or like what does that mean?
I feel like it does.
And being closer to
Okay,
like the
yeah.
girls, like yeah, so some obviously like the top tier sororities like recruit the prettiest girls, and like the prettiest girls want to be in that sorority because they know it's like the
It's like
best one.
validation,
Yeah.
I
So
Sororities should have the draft. You know, because I just learned about what the NBA draft was. Like I knew that it existed, but I didn't know how it worked. And apparently, so like the people coming out of like college basketball and stuff, like when they're entering the NBA, the worst team in the league, or like all the worst teams in the NBA, get the first pick of like the new recruits coming out of college. So sororities, to like level the playing field, could really
Yeah.
like get doing that. Probably in practice that wouldn't work that well. But like you think about like those bottom ones that are just never gonna get up.
yeah.
They're just always like charity cases, you know?
Yeah, and it's like not their fault, because there's like some that are new to USF, and they're just like, when you establish a new sorority, like you just accept everyone. So like if anyone can get in, like you just, you know, like then they just recruit like the worst girls, which is like, that sounds bad, but like, and then they're never going to be good because they're like never going to get up there. I don't know.
Did you ever feel like you had to change who you were, like personality-wise?
No, because mine, like, Zeta at USF is, like, really real, and, like, all the girls are, like,
I remember you
who
said
they are.
moms. I really felt the mom vibe in there.
Yeah, so that's why it was, like, I don't know. Sometimes, like, comparing myself to other girls in there, I was like, like, I feel like I don't belong here, but at the same time, like, I liked being in a real sorority where, like, the top tier ones, like, none of the girls are friends. They all, like, hate each other. So, I don't know. Like, I liked that about it, but I also didn't like being looked down on by, like, other girls.
Yeah.
And, like, I feel like people who were in, like, the better ones, like, changed. So.
And then just because I don't know, because I'm a guy, like, do you feel, not really related, it's similar but not related to sororities, do you feel like pressure from like social media to like change your digital image at all?
I thought you were gonna
Yeah.
ask something, but like way out of nowhere.
No.
Like, so what do you think about the Civil War?
No.
From a guy's standpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I feel like if I look better on social media, like, then I feel like other girls will think that I'm like better than I am. Does that make sense?
And do you feel like you ever have to like always be happy on social media? Like you could never post anything where I'm like, today sucks.
Yeah, because no one else does that. Like,
like,
no
it's
one
not
else
the
has
trend.
ever said.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, cool. I don't know. I just feel like, especially with, like, the other sororities, too, like we were talking about, like, they're always just like, oh, this is the best thing ever.
Yeah,
and, like, they actually have, like, the worst like friendships within their chapter, but I'm like, oh, this sucks. Like, I'm not having the best time ever.
It's weird how that works, where you have to pretend to be happy.
Yeah.
On social media.
Do you keep up like a social media presence? Like, do you post a lot?
I try to, but now I'm like doing a theme, so I like am not posting as much because I need like the pictures to match.
Do you post?
Wait, explain that, because I want to know what that is.
Okay, so I'm like trying to get like, have you ever been on someone's page and you're like, oh, that feed is like amazing?
I mean,
like everything matches. I guess it's more of a girl thing.
Yeah,
but
this is why like I think we need your perspective. This is important. I want like your raw, like give me all the girl stuff right now.
Okay, so
give
like,
him all the girl stuff.
Not in like
Anthony is still naked.
No, I'm not. I'm fully clothed.
Yeah, so I like want it all to match because I think it's cute.
Okay.
It looks better. Like when people click on your profile, they're like, oh, that looks good. Like
I can understand
follow
that.
her
Yeah.
or whatever. And like some girls do that, and I like it, so I like started doing it. But then you like can't post a picture. You can't be like, oh, grandma's 91st birthday. Like if grandma doesn't match the theme, like grandma's not
Grandma's
going
out,
in.
yeah.
Like grandma's not in the
Yeah.
Instagram. That's more of like a story
Yeah.
thing. So that's like kind of how I've been doing it. Like unless I take like a bomb photo, like it's not going on there.
Yeah, I felt that way for a while.
Like a bomb photo.
Like
going to Syria.
Not that kind of bomb photo.
I felt that way before. They're like only like important big things, or like when I'm like looking really good. But
yeah, but I'm also like, it's so frustrating because I'm not the type of girl to like post pictures of my ass or like anything like that.
Oh, yeah,
so I like am not gonna get like I just have to accept the fact that I'm not gonna get like a ton of likes on a photo or like a ton of followers if I'm like fully clothed and it's like a selfie, you know.
True.
So that's just like not me. I just like don't post pictures of my ass. And like going back to the career thing, like I'm so focused on the future, like I feel like people don't understand what you post on social media like will show up later on in life to your employer. Yeah. So like I just don't.
Do you maintain like a constant stream of stories too on like Instagram and Snapchat?
I try to.
Now what like compels you to do that?
I don't know. I guess like I just try to make my life cute. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, like I get, but like, okay, so like make obviously you want your.
Wait, I'm not looking down at you. Like I want to get this perspective. I'm so glad you're just being like, I think it looks cute. Like just tell her how it is. Just give it to her how it is.
Yeah, we really do got to get into this.
Yeah.
So okay, yeah, but like that's kind of like the core thing. So like you want it to look cute. Obviously, like if you're gonna be doing it, you want it to look cute. But like you want it to look cute so people can see it. So they'll. I'm not like shitting on you, but like so they'll think like highly of you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly, no, like that's, I feel like now that I'm really thinking about it, like I don't do much in my daily, like I feel like I study a lot, going back to like everything we said at the beginning, like I don't go out like 5 nights a week, like I'm in my room studying, so like when I am doing stuff, like I try to post it so that it looks like I'm having fun. Like I just wanted people to be like, oh, like that's cute, or like, oh, that's cool, but like it shouldn't matter, but it does to me.
Yeah. That's all right.
Yeah.
It's like a thing that I've noticed, and I'm glad that you like made sense of it, because I like couldn't really understand it, because I'm not obviously the type of person to like need people to think things are cute, but like I get it, I understand it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't. So like
I understand it though. I do, because I understand like aesthetic things.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
I get like wanting to like seem like you're having like a good time.
I mean that I don't understand, but it's just kind of a trend. So like you kind of follow the trend.
Yeah, like
sucks.
if everybody else is like posting stuff like, oh, I'm doing this and that, like you want to be like, oh, me too, like I'm doing this and that.
I guess this goes back to me having like 4 solid friends. Because they already know what I'm up to, because I talk to them.
Yeah, well, especially, like, with high school, like, I want to stay relevant. Does that make sense? Like, I don't want people to be like, oh, who's that summer girl, like, 10 years down the line? Like, what is she doing? Like, I want them to be like, oh, she's been doing this. Like, she's been doing Pure Barre.
Who's them, though?
Everyone.
See, I think this is, again, with, like, just, like, social pressures that I think girls feel more than guys. I truly believe that. Because, like, I obviously have similar thoughts, but at the end of the day, I, like, really want to be myself, like completely myself.
That's true.
But I definitely feel like these girls are like almost taught to like, you got to be this or whatever this is. Like it depends on the person and the upbringing, but that's pretty shitty.
Yeah, like, I just don't want to be that girl that, like, everyone's like, oh my gosh, like, now I remember that I went to high school with her, like, she has a kid, like, what the heck,
Yeah.
you know, like, I don't want to be like that, like, I want people to just know what I've been doing,
You're
like,
going
what
to New
I've,
York, you're like,
yeah,
but, like, you know, I
I'm
guess,
out there, like, I'm living,
Yeah.
not necessarily, like, I want people to think that I'm cool, but I want them to, like, know that I'm still around.
Like, I guess to put it in perspective, like, I went to Washington, D.C. over the summer, and, like, I didn't, like, post anything about it, but I could see, like, times where I guess I could have, because there's, like, cool things I'm looking at,
Yeah.
or I'm doing something cool, but I'm gonna say it's I guess, like, a difference in, like, girls' perspective, guys' perspective, but, like, girls and guys are very similar, so I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just, like, I really, this is, like, something I've really been thinking about for,
Yeah,
like,
but if I was
a few
there,
years.
I'd be like, oh my gosh, like, every single thing that I was
Exactly.
doing would be on there.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that detracts from the moment?
I try, like, I feel like I'm not super into my phone. Like, I am definitely more into my phone than, like, you, who you said, like, you wouldn't
Yeah.
post,
I
like,
was at
anything.
Oxford Exchange today, and I didn't post anything.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I feel like I try, when I'm with people, like, I try not to look at my phone at all. And I usually am, like, distracted enough to, like not look at it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not really, like, addictive in that way. Like, when I was in New York with Abby, like, I would have to, like, be conscious and be like, oh, like, I want to take a picture of this for
Yeah.
Instagram. Like, I'd have to, like, just try to, like, remind myself to do that stuff, or else I wouldn't have, because we were so, like, busy and doing stuff all the time. So, like, taking pictures, not really. If I was, like, and especially at concerts, like, I'm not the type to post, like, 500 stories
that's
of,
the
like,
worst.
That shit is ridiculous.
that is the
Right
worst thing
now.
ever. So I'm so about the, like, being in the moment when it's at, like, a concert or something like that, or, like, something that's, like, more important that you want to remember for the rest of your life, but not really, like, if I go to, like, a ice cream place in New York, like, I'm gonna just post a picture of it and then be done with it. Like, it doesn't take up that much time that I would be like, oh, I really was missing out on, like, you know.
Yeah.
The closest like juxtaposition of, like, people, like, not caring about taking photos and people doing it only for the photo was me when I was at Yellowstone over the summer.
Mhm.
Because so I'm on the one end because I drove to California and I took, like, a Snapchat story the entire trip.
Yeah.
But I remember when we stopped at Yellowstone, I swear to God, the majority of the visitors there were all from Japan. Like, it was mostly Japanese and Chinese people, and we were going around looking at the geysers and stuff, and you couldn't get through. Like, there was just crowds of people, and, like, they would all be lining up and waiting to take photos, and, like,
Yeah.
not giving a shit about, like, what was around. They were just there for the photo, and then they would
Yeah.
take the photo, and they would turn around and take the photo of the other person. It's, yeah.
Yeah.
And and I feel like I wouldn't have had, like, such a memory of it if I was there, like, trying to get the photo as well. Because I just remember it, like, clearly in my head, you know, what it looked like. It looked like a bunch of Japanese people on a boardwalk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I feel like going, like, back to that, like, people taking photos also takes away from, like, you going there because you've seen it all before. Like, I'm never going to go to the Grand Canyon, probably. Like, I've seen so many pictures of it. I'm, like, not really interested.
That's true.
I don't know if that makes, like, that sounds
It doesn't
bad.
make sense. You definitely got to go to the Grand Canyon.
Really?
Because I went there,
Well,
too.
yeah. But I just, like, I feel like I learned about that in school or, like, in psychology or something. Am I wrong? Do you guys remember learning about that at all?
I definitely, I understand what you're saying. I'm a seer. Like, I like to see it, just to say I've seen it. Like, I didn't really, honestly, I, like, wasn't really down. We're supposed to go to California, and we ended up going to Washington, D.C., and I was like, that's cool. Like, I'm just glad I'm going to get to see it, but I wasn't, like, super excited. I ended up loving it, but I like to see things. So, like, I'm, just to say, I guess I've seen it, or so I know what it looks like in person, but I can see what you mean if you've seen enough pictures of it. Maybe that makes you feel like
we were in New York. I've been to New York twice, and I didn't see the Statue of Liberty. Like, I'm just not. I'd rather do something else.
Yeah, I didn't see it when I went either. But that's
So,
just 'cause I was busy, yeah.
I
Well,
don't
you were
know.
too,
Like,
so.
you're just kind of like, I've seen so many pictures of it, like, in my
Yeah.
life. Like, what's
I saw it in the plane, too.
Yeah. So you're like, okay, that's enough.
Seeing and, like, doing is so different than, like, reading about it, though.
I agree.
I was thinking about it the other day about, like, learning from your mistakes. Like, for example, like, you could read, like, a self-help book or, like, a book of, you know, someone else's story to success. and they could be like, oh, well, I tried this and that failed, and then I used these strategies and those all failed, and I learned from all these mistakes, and eventually, I got to where I am today. And I was thinking about how so many times in my life I've been given like really good advice that I just ignored, but then like I didn't really like learn the lesson until I made the mistake myself.
Yeah.
Because I thought.
Oh my God, that's so true.
And I thought that like you only really like learn the lesson once you feel the pain of like making the mistake.
Yeah.
And then that pain like reminds you, like it makes you learn. But it like someone else, like my dad tells me stuff today, and like my whole life, like everyone's dad. But like, so I'll be doing something, he's like, oh, we shouldn't do it that way, and I'm like, yeah, you don't know anything. But that happens now today, like things that I do, he's like, that's wrong. I'm like, no, it's not. And I just know that like 20 years from now I'll be like, oh, yeah, he was right.
Things my mom were saying to me like 2 years ago, I have found on my own through my own experience, and like told her what I learned, and she was like, I told you this like at this time, and it's like crazy. You have to just do it on your own.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like advice. I mean, maybe to like a certain kind of person, like advice doesn't matter because like you're not gonna learn unless you just do it yourself.
Yeah, and you're probably gonna tell your kids like the same stuff, but it's like the same thing's gonna happen, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
That's like how like people are always making songs and writing books about like the same things.
Yeah.
Because it's those things that like no matter how many times people say it, they're not gonna learn until it happens to them.
Mm-hmm. Do you ever go somewhere just for the picture?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I've definitely done that before. Like Hyde Park is like the prime photo, but also there's like fun stuff to do. So it's like, let's go take pictures, let's go eat at Oxford Exchange. Like the food's still great. I love Oxford Exchange.
I enjoyed it today.
Yeah, and you didn't post any photos. But you can have the best of both worlds. Like you could post the bomb photos like with the tile on the floor, like the black and white tile. That's like amazing. Or you can just like go and eat lunch.
Oxford Exchange is the only place ever that I've gone just for the picture.
Yeah.
I remember we were in Tampa and I was like, we gotta get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta go.
It's become like a focal point of that. Like,
well, and you want people to know you've been.
Yeah.
I don't know, at least I do, but that's so dumb. Like, I know it's dumb, but like I'm not gonna stop.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you're so open and raw about that. Like that's why we thought you'd be good for this. So.
Yeah.
And then so like getting deeper into that, like, would you ever want to be Instagram famous? Would that be something?
I think that would be so fun. Like, I watch a lot of YouTube.
Yeah.
And I'm like, these people get paid to live their life and go do fun stuff and take pictures. Like, especially working with brands, I feel like I post a lot of stories. Like, oh my gosh, I love this Lululemon shirt. Or I love this like self tanner from this and this place. And they get like sent stuff for free, like to promote. They get like paid to promote things that I just like naturally promote. And I'm like, that would be really cool. But obviously, like, they're not having as much fun. Like, they always have to look good. Like, it's just like a I'm so sensitive, and I said that earlier, so I couldn't deal with like the hate comments and stuff. Like I just could never do that.
Yeah.
You know what's something kind of on that, well, definitely on that like my opinion really changed like just this past year, because I remember it was like a joke I had when I was before I went to college. It was like, if you're gonna read a book in public, you like should not do that anywhere. Like, reading is for like at home, because if you're like at the lunch table in like high school, like alone, like reading a book, you're gonna get like judged so hard. Because I remember like I was like there, I would see kids reading books, and I was like, look at that. And I've like
nerds.
Look at that shit.
And I've like totally like when I see people like that, I've like totally like flipped on it now. Because I'm like, that guy is just like completely like zoned in on his own life. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He ain't worried about nothing but the words on the page.
That's true.
And like when I see like, I feel that way a lot when I see like old guys like dressed up in just wacky ass outfits.
Yeah.
Or like, I don't know, I just see like weird people on the street. I'm like, yes, because like they're so like just going their own way.
Yeah.
Like you see someone like shitting in a public stall,
and you're like, hell yeah.
You're doing that.
Keep it up.
Imagine seeing someone shit in the street? I mean, they don't care. They're all there for themselves, and that is what the opposite of a vlogger is.
Yeah.
Someone
That's
shitting.
true.
I feel that would be something like a vlogger would see, like someone like making sure their face is right, making sure their hair is like, hey guys, here I am in Los Angeles, and in the background of the vlog, you see someone in between two cars just
it's shitting.
Shitting it. It's like 85 degrees out. It's hot.
Ever.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I totally agree. Like, I couldn't be that like.
Shitting in the street?
Both, like
Yeah.
being the vlogger and the shitter. Couldn't
Vlogging
do
it
either.
as it happens. Hey, guys.
Yeah, so I don't know. That's very good point. Like the two polar opposites. I couldn't do either one.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Are you, do you ever like worry, like this is not what we're getting at, but it's similar to being in the middle. Like, do you ever worry about being normal? Because sometimes I worry about just having like a completely normal, well, I guess you said like 9 to 5. Like, I would hate to just do like completely normal. Obviously my
Yeah.
life's going to be normal, but.
And I think just like my biggest fear, and I feel like people don't worry about this until they're like 60 years old, but like my biggest fear is growing up and looking back at like the things that are supposed to be the times of our life and be like, I didn't do anything. Like I studied, like I did what you're supposed to technically do in college, but like no one does that. Like no one's in college for the school. Like people choose their college for like the football games and for like the Greek life. Like no one chooses it for school anymore, I feel like, unless you're actually really smart and you go to like Harvard and stuff.
Yeah.
But like I don't know, I just don't want to look back and be like, I went to college and I did nothing.
Yeah, that would suck.
Every time we get on the, like, we've been on like subjects like this before. Every time like we get on this, it like inspires me more and more to like not do like the like you say like missing out on stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It always like inspires me like because like I do say like, oh, I should do like internships and stuff.
Yeah.
But it inspires me like when I'm like 60, I'm not gonna like say that I lose like a little bit of like potential earnings in the future. I'm like, oh man, that internship was really boring, or I could be like, that trip to Africa, that was nuts. Like,
yeah.
I grew a lot on that trip.
Yeah.
But it's hard to gauge that right now because, like, you have the pressure, the social pressure, and the societal pressure of, like, you should be doing this.
That's the roll of the dice.
Yep. That's, sadly.
Man, it's all about that.
Mm.
It's all about that.
Yeah.
Like, the social media is, like, telling you to live your life, and, like, the adults are like, you need to get a job. Like, you need to do this and that. So it's just kind of, like, I don't know where to fit in between, and in between is also like boring.
Yeah.
So it's like, where do you go?
Yeah, like you can either be a normal person, a super hard-working person that's very successful, or you do your own thing and maybe find success, or everyone's like,
or you find failure.
She's weird and failed, you know what I mean? So
I thought about this today, and for this podcast, and it's a really crazy idea. Like, it probably wouldn't work, but I want to get a homeless guy on here,
We could easily. And I swear, like, when this gets to Tallahassee, and we just get a bunch of, like,
homeless people,
us,
50 homeless people, us giving a speech, like, taking questions from an auditorium full of homeless people.
It could happen. That would actually, like, be really cool if we got that to
That would be
work.
the realest shit.
Yeah, that would be wild.
I saw a guy on the street today, as always. I mean,
you always see him.
You do see the same homeless guy a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But I was at an intersection. He was just like walking up to the cars, and I thought about it. I mean, we had summer on tonight, unfortunately. But
Yeah, sadly.
I thought about telling him like, "Hey, man, I'll give you $50, but you got to come on my podcast."
He would totally.
I'd be kind of scared, like, bringing him in here.
Yeah, maybe not in here.
Yeah,
We'd have
maybe you
to-
should do it on the street.
It would have to be on the street. We could do it in a park.
Yeah, in the park.
Or the park, but just like during the day
During the
probably
day.
is the best
1
time
a.m.
to do it.
1 a.m. We're gonna do it
Behind the old Toys R Us.
Yes. Perfect place to do it. It's very quiet back there,
Yeah.
I've heard, so.
Great sound.
We like start the.
Okay,
Hey guys, this is our first podcast on crack. We're here with what's your name? Duke Shoes. All right.
Yeah.
But he would probably have a lot to say.
Or would he just spew a bunch of bullshit? We'll figure
that would be
Yeah,
worth
would
it
you
too.
try
That
to
would be
get
worth
him
it
like
too.
on or off drugs?
Yeah.
I think on drugs, but I would like just want to hear his story, because that's the thing we were talking about, like the access. Okay, so like the people that me and Anthony have access to talk about, like we all we can talk about is the future, because most of us don't even have any past to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like all of us in this whole age range are just a big sack of like confusion and like potential that has the potential to be squandered, and that's all just what we're worried about. If we talk to someone who had lost it all,
has lived,
that I don't know, that would just give us a lot of like perspective on stuff.
Oh my god, it would be so good.
Losing it all, especially if we talk to someone, because like there's definitely going to be people that at least like we knew of who if we come back 40 years from now are going to be homeless, and that must hurt just even more. Like if you and it's gonna sound snobby. Yeah, it is. We are like born with more to lose, you know?
Yeah.
Like when you're born middle class, upper middle class, and like everyone always tells you that like, oh yeah, you have potential, or like even if people don't tell you that, you just think like, okay, even if I don't try, I'll end up in just a job, you know, and I'll be fine. Like I'll like live in the suburbs or something. And if you risk that and then you lose it, like if you roll the dice and you're like, no, I want to be something different, and you actually end up being homeless, it's gotta hurt that much more.
Oh yeah.
Because you had it and you lost it.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true.
So I mean, risk. I don't know. I mean, we have to have someone on here who can give us the other perspective. But like, risking it from the bottom is not as risky as risking it from the top because you got less to lose.
Yeah.
It's true. I agree. I mean, we're gonna have it.
We're gonna have hate mail coming in now.
We're gonna have hate mail. There's people listening right now.
There's no one listening right now.
There are people listening, but
I have like the perfect person for you to bring on.
do you really?
Yeah. But we'll talk
What's
about
your
it.
social security number?
Off recording.
Yeah, we just gave like everyone ideas. What if there's other podcasters listening, and they're just like, oh, we're gonna get a homeless person on.
We're gonna get a homeless. Yeah, you just gave all your. Oh.
Can you imagine if the next podcast was us with the 40 homeless people in an auditorium?
Just screaming.
What are
we did it,
us
y'all.
at the Manatee High School like,
We're men
auditorium?
of our word. We brought them on.
Oh man, I would listen to that podcast if it was two homeless guys, just like talking about the shit that they did that day.
Yeah.
That would be a way to get out of being homeless.
I feel like their lives
But they
are
don't-
so much different than
They don't
mine.
have like Wi-Fi access or anything. So
You can go to Starbucks. You're allowed to go to Starbucks if you smell bad, I think.
well, they also have
I've been there plenty of times when
they
I
have the
smell
public
bad.
library, and it also sucks that like homeless people have to smell bad, and like that's just like regardless of like society or any kind of like thing like that, just human interaction, and you don't want to talk to someone that smells bad. So like even if you get approached by like a genuine nice homeless person and they stink, you're gonna be like, I don't really want to talk to you.
You're like, sorry, you
It
guys.
sucks. It sucks.
It is sad.
I mean, but like we're downtown right now. There's definitely homeless people
There's
within
homeless people walking around us right
within
now.
blocks of us,
Oh
and
my
they're gonna
God.
wake up tomorrow so different. It's hard. It's hard to even like reconcile. Nice, nice.
Wow.
It's
Good
hard.
You are
It's hard to
15.
even reconcile.
Going through puberty is rough.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah,
it's
I am
tough.
15.
Yeah.
So. And that's just here. Like, there's homeless. I mean, but like, there's so many. There's people who have homes that are worse off than the homeless people here. You just got to go overseas to find them.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I feel like, I don't know, this is like such a deep conversation, so we probably shouldn't get into like too much of it, but like being born, like, I feel like homeless people, when they don't have access to like the birth control and stuff, and then people are like born on the street, like people are like born in poverty, and
Yeah,
that
that's
makes me
rough.
so sad. And it's just a cycle, like they'll never get out of it. You
Yeah.
can never like,
The cycle of poverty, it's like a thing, and it's really bad.
it makes me sad. It like really makes me sad, because I feel like there's people, like you can't really say like there's people that have it better off or worse off than you, because there's people who are born to like millionaires, and there's people who are born in the street, you know, like you
And
don't get to choose how you're born.
And there's
so
people
it's
that are born to
sad.
millionaires that like beat them, and there's people that
Yeah.
are born to homeless people that love them like
Yeah.
unconditionally. So
Yeah.
it's hard to tell like what matters, you know. And there's even people that they're not beaten by their millionaire parents, but they're just sent away to boarding school, and like their
Yeah.
parents don't really care what they do. So it's like
Or
hard
like
to
grow up
gauge.
with a nanny or something,
Yeah.
where you like don't even see your parents. It's like
tough.
sad.
It's tough to decide. I think love, like whatever it is, means so much
Yeah.
from two parents, regardless of like gender. Like I obviously I don't care about that, but you need to have like more than one person loving you, like that you know that people can love you from like birth. You need to have
Yeah.
people telling you that you're the best and you'll be the best.
The
Yeah.
variety of like types of life and like the whole spectrum of human lives and human experiences is one of my top 3 all-time stoned thoughts. Like,
Yeah.
it'll be like 10 minutes after we're done smoking, and I'll be like sitting there like on the bench outside, and it's like one of those like classic things like you see on the internet that like people like make fun of, like stoned thoughts. Like,
Yeah.
man, China, that shit's all happening right now.
Yeah. It's true. I don't know. There's so much to like think about when it comes to that. Like, it's so crazy that you don't know how you're gonna be, like what you're gonna be born into.
And people's perspective change on it so much. Like, right now I feel very overprivileged because we're talking about, how different a life of a homeless person would be.
Yeah.
I know that when I drive down El Conquistador and I see the mansions and, the people that I knew who've been to private school, St. Stephen's and stuff,
Yeah.
I felt a lot less wealthy than I actually am.
I completely agree. Because I had to drop my sorority and, I pay for college myself, I feel, not privileged. But at the same time, I have, a wonderful place to live, and I have a family that loves me. It's so easy to get caught up in, I don't have this and I don't have that. But it's
I get privilege is relative and absolute.
Yeah.
Because we're absolutely more privileged than a lot of people on this planet. But someone who's got, a middle-class job in India is a lot more privileged than someone who's homeless in Bangladesh.
Yeah.
And, I forgot what I was going to get at. Yeah, I forgot what I was going to get at. It was about relativity, though. Not the theory of relativity, but relativity of being well off or whatever.
We could just enjoy some dead air while you come back up with it.
No. Keep it going. You should do the Wikipedia thing.
Oh, yeah, we should do the Wikipedia. I didn't curate it yet.
Oh, that's fine. We'll just do whatever.
You guys go. Talk about something.
Well, I gotta explain this for anyways. He pulls up, once every podcast, he pulls up a Wikipedia page, a random one, and he talks about it, and then we talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah. But before that happens, what is, your 5-year plan, would you say?
From, now or from graduating college, 5 years after that?
I'd say I guess from now. I mean, obviously you're going to, study hard, but,
Yeah. Okay, so from now, how many years of college do I have left? 2. So, I want to graduate, and then I want to get, my CPA, because that's, where the money is. And then after that, depending on how Pure Barre goes, I might just have my degree and, not look at it for a few years. And then see where, the Pure Barre thing goes, either with the master trainer, whatever I want to do. I definitely want to get married.
Yeah.
That's in the 5-year plan.
5 years?
Yeah.
It's good. I think it might be.
I'll only be 20 then.
We've been dating for 4 years. I feel like it's...
he's 50.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Wait, how long... So, wait, is it with...
Jesse. We've been dating for 4 years.
I think it's real. That's real stuff.
People are getting engaged that we graduated with. People have been getting engaged.
People have been having kids since we were 16.
Yeah. I don't have any kids, so I feel like there's not really a rush on getting married, but I don't know. That's just where I see myself married in 5 years, for sure. I see myself married in 2 years.
That's cool.
Are you living with him?
No, we were supposed to. That he is not going to school anymore, so he's not going to Tampa anymore. Obviously, that would just be a waste of money. He's gonna go to fire school, here. So
that's cool.
That's why I'm living in downtown Tampa, because all my friends already signed their lease way before all this happened.
Yeah.
He decided not to do school in June, so that kind of I had to end my lease with him up in Tampa. And then I had to see who people were living with. And then everyone already had a lease signed, and I could have lived in the house at Zeta, but I didn't want to because I thought if I couldn't even be in the group chat, I definitely couldn't live in the house with 26 girls. And then I ended up dropping anyways. But now that's why I'm living in downtown Tampa, because my cousin, do you know Will Cackless?
Yeah.
So he's my cousin, my third cousin, and his sister graduated with my sister, so she's 22, and she works at Tampa General. So
does she live actually downtown?
Well, she was living here and commuting to Tampa General, and she's a nurse, so she would work the 12-hour shifts and drive there and drive back. That's just too much. Yeah. So she was looking for an apartment up there. I was looking for an apartment up there, and I was oh, I'm fine with being close to the hospital. It's bougie.
Yeah.
So
yeah, if you're are you living real deal metro downtown?
Real deal, I'm living on Channelside.
Oh,
so, yeah. So that's the real. Yeah, I'm really excited. Lots of Instagram photos to come.
And I'm ready for it.
The only reason I signed my lease is for the Instagram. I'm just kidding, but yeah, it's gonna be fun if I can afford to literally do anything extracurricular. Then that would be cool. But we'll see as it goes on.
Even like Davis Island is cool when you just go over the bridge.
Yeah, I'm on Harbor
Ooh,
Island.
I'm
That's
a fan
where
of
I-
Davis. I'm a
yeah.
fan of Davis Island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got this one coffee place called D Cafe or something. It's like DI. But it's you know the difference with coffee. Like you'll get that Starbucks shit that sometimes tastes like water, but then you get that you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I don't.
Like it's steeped in caffeine.
Like
you
Buddy
can
Brew
taste it and
coffee
it
is
slaps
so
you.
good.
You like
Oh
Buddy
my
Brew?
god, yeah. And they're making like a kawa right next to. I heard this rumor that your parents were starting a juice place. Is that true?
I don't know that rumor. There's a lot of rumors going around. I don't know the rumor. I don't know what my parents do. Literally, like
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so I heard this rumor that your parents were starting like an acai place, and they were gonna put it next to Pure Bar, and there's like 2 empty spaces in there. But the 2 empty spaces just got filled, and I was really sad because I was like in the Lakewood Ranch Pure Bar. There's like clean juice in that plaza, and I
Yeah.
eat it there like every time I work because it's like a healthy food to eat. And in that plaza, there's like Five Guys, Papos, and
Yeah.
like just nasty stuff that I like don't want to eat after I work. So I was like excited for a juice place, but I was like, oh, Anthony's parents are such entrepreneurs. Like, what's going
Like,
on?
I think like Rihanna or someone, I don't know, someone told me about it and like asked me a while ago too, and I was like, yeah, I don't really know like who. We like acai bowls. I don't know about what's going on with that.
So you haven't like talked to your parents about that at all, about
No,
the rumor?
maybe-
You haven't brought it up to them?
Maybe like they talked to someone and then like someone else found out.
Well,
but-
I thought like somebody told me that your dad came into Pure Bar and said like, hey, I'm doing this juice place. Like, can we come in here and like
I really don't know. Like
Yeah.
I really don't.
okay, well,
But
check up on it for
I-
me
I
and
know,
let me
you're the
know.
second person, you're the second person that's asked, so I might
Okay.
actually bring it up.
Yeah.
It's Angus opening it up.
It's my dog Angus opening it up.
Yeah.
You know I have a Saudi Arabian friend.
Angus?
Yeah, your dog. No, do you remember that girl Tatum?
Yeah. She goes to USF.
Oh yeah, that's true. I remember I was like looking her up on Snapchat once to like see her story. And then I accidentally just put in TAY and I added that name and he accepted me, and it's this guy who lives in Saudi Arabia. And he was like a horse trainer. I mean, he still is a horse trainer, and he always posts stories just like all day long, like a full like 10 minutes worth of story. He's like that kind of guy.
Okay.
And like he'll be like in his car, like it's all in Arabic, so I don't get it. But like he's just in his car, like driving, talking about his day, all the shit that he's done. And I just see his life in Saudi Arabia. And then I remember I messaged him and I was like, "Can you tell me what's up?" And we talked for like a good he spoke English. We
He
talked for like a
spoke to-
good
okay.
few days about like just what he did in Saudi
Wow.
Arabia. I thought we could like fly him here.
Yeah.
That would be like amazing.
Once this podcast goes viral,
Yeah.
you guys will have the money to fly him in,
Yeah.
and
So
Once we get that hobo shit going.
yeah,
The
that's
hobo
what
money.
will really make it go viral.
Yeah.
I was
I'll
thinking-
post. There will be like a video on Facebook that's like these 2 young boys asked a homeless person, and you won't believe what he said,
It's
and like
gonna-
that's
believe
like
what happened.
It's gonna be on Bay News 9.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
What if we had like if this was like broadcast live on Bay News 9 every time we did it?
I
And we're like, "Can you imagine what it'd be like to take a shit while a vlogger was?"
And Bob Harrigan's just quaking.
Oh my gosh, I was on Good Morning America, so I feel like
Really?
I wasn't like on it,
You were just like,
but I was like
"Yeah."
in the back. Yeah, I was in the background
That's really
with
cool.
Abby in New York, so I feel like that was my
Like recently?
yeah when
Oh.
we were in New York, which was like a couple weeks ago.
Was it on Snapchat? Where you're like zooming in and out like
Have you ever seen
Not
that
on the
Jimmy
camera, but
that Jimmy Kimmel thing where he plays foreigner or American?
no.
They do it in LA. They like pull people off the street,
Oh yeah. I
and
know
then like
that.
Jimmy Kimmel has to guess if they're foreigner or American. You should try to get on that and wear like a Zeta shirt and like black tights, and then like
Be like,
aviator sunglasses, and then definitely have like your Zeta sticker on your phone. And like, is this girl American?
And they'd be like,
and,
probably.
and then I'll be like, I'm a lesbian. He'll be like,
I thought you were American.
I have the Wikipedia article.
Alright, let's get it.
Okay.
And this is a good one. Because it's the Wikipedia article
I'm a little nervous.
on dreams.
Dreams, wow.
Dreams.
And this is going to be good right here.
Just read that excerpt, whatever it is.
A dream is a succession of images, ideas, emotions, and sensations that occur usually involuntarily in the mind during certain stages of sleep. The content and purpose of dreams are not fully understood, although they have been a topic of scientific, philosophical, and religious interest throughout recorded history. Dream interpretation is the attempt at drawing meaning from dreams and searching for an underlying message. The scientific study of dreams is called oneirology, Dreams mainly occur in the REM stage of sleep, when brain activity is high and resembles that of being awake. REM sleep is revealed by continuous movements of the eye during sleep. At times, dreams may occur during other stages of sleep. However, these dreams tend to be much less vivid or memorable. The length of a dream can vary. They may last for a few seconds or approximately 20 to 30 minutes. It's crazy to think.
Yeah, that's so crazy to me.
Like the dreams always seem
long, but they're
long.
like seconds long in real life.
It's been a while since I've been like woken up. Like, can you imagine if someone woke you up during your REM sleep and like pulled you right out of a dream?
Can you wake up like in the middle of?
No, you can't.
That was kind of a dumb question. But
20 to 30, but like you have like a bunch of dreams a night. I wonder what like the turnover time is between them.
Yeah, I heard this thing that you dream every night. Is that true?
I heard about that too, and you just don't remember it.
I dream it. Like I remember.
I never ever remember. There's like I probably remember like 3 dreams, and they're recurring dreams. That's why I remember them. But I like never remember my dreams.
I'm gonna talk like a tweet for a second, but like my unpopular opinion is that I don't think dreams are interesting. Like it's cool that we do it. But it just, like, makes sense to me. Like, I can, like, dream up anything right now in my head. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm about to rock your world because we've got a few more paragraphs here.
Oh, wow.
Okay, rock my world, baby.
Rock is...
People are more likely to remember the dream if they are awakened during the REM phase. Oh. The average person has 3 to 5 dreams per night, and some may have up to 7. However, most dreams are immediately or quickly forgotten. Okay. Dreams tend to last longer as the night progresses. During a full 8-hour night of sleep, most dreams occur in the typical 2 hours of REM. Opinions about the meaning of dreams have varied and shifted throughout time and culture. Many endorse the Freudian theory of dreams, that dreams reveal insight into the hidden desires and emotions. Other prominent theories include those suggesting that dreams assist in memory formation, problem solving, or simply are the product of random brain activity.
That's what I think.
Blechner proposed that dreams show how the mind engages in thought when not required to produce a communicable version of the thought. The earliest recorded dreams were acquired from materials dating back approximately 5,000 years in Mesopotamia, where they were documented on clay tablets. In the Greek and Roman periods, the people believed that dreams are direct messages from deities or deceased people, and that they predicted the future. Some cultures practice dream incubation with the intention of cultivating dreams that are of a prophecy.
I mean, they're interesting, and it's cool when you feel like when you're falling or something, or you like want to cry in a dream. Like I've had that before, but I had a dream the other night where I was like being mugged and it was bad.
Yeah, see, I only have bad dreams.
Yeah.
I've never had a good dream.
Yeah.
Like ever in my life. Like people, I feel like some people have like the best dreams. Like I was like a millionaire, but I've like only had nightmares.
Yeah.
Like in my life.
I agree.
I really like writing down my dreams. I feel like as I've been writing them down like for the past like 2 years, like they get better. Like it's like training a muscle because like you like remembering them and like because probably like crazy ones happen all the time that you just forget. And like my dreams have like gotten better as I've been writing them down more. But then I wake up and like if I had a good one, like I'll immediately write it down. And then I'll forget about it, and so then I come back to it, like when I'm like going through like my notes on my phone and stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, that. It's like a memory that you forgot about, but that didn't really happen.
Well, are you ever like going through the day and you're like something like reminds you of your dream that you had? Like that happens to me. I feel like
that's some like really well-connected brain activity. That doesn't happen to me. That's cool though.
That happens to me like all the time, but I don't ever like when I wake up like I don't ever feel like, oh, I just had a dream. Like, but when I'm like going through the day, I'm like, oh, I dreamt about that last night. Like, I don't know, it's just weird.
It makes me feel like I'm going crazy. Wow.
He's 15, everyone.
I know. I'm 14 now. It makes me feel like
back in time.
It makes me feel like I'm going crazy like when I remember dreams because there's been times where like for like weeks like I'll think that it happened. And like I'll be like, why do I remember this? When did that happen? Or like when I'll remember something, and like, did that actually happen or was that a dream? And I feel like that's how people going crazy must feel. Like, did that actually happen?
Did that actually happen?
Am I just going crazy?
I think it's random brain activity, and it's a lot of it you can like tie into things you hear that you I think you subconsciously attach to. Like if someone started talking about jelly beans and I wasn't paying attention, I'd have like a dream about jelly beans in 2 nights, and I'd be like, why am I dreaming about jelly beans?
But that's weird, isn't it? How like something will just enter your subconscious and then manifest itself like
it's
that.
It's kind of like your like dump though. It's like your brain.
Well,
dump.
that's I like the first time I ever heard.
Give me
of
all your
dreams-
girl stuff. I'm the dump. That's your name now, Anthony the Dump.
What's the dump though? Remember, I was like, that's like the dump of things. I said it on another podcast. It's like my go-to analogy.
Okay.
Anthony the Dump.
I like the first time I ever learned about dreams, like in school. That's what they said. They said dreaming is your brain getting rid of irrelevant stuff.
Yes, that's what I think it is.
But that's not like always the case. Like I had a dream that my dad was trying to kill me. Like what does that have to do with like anything?
I guess. Yeah,
like
that's true.
I don't know. I just like that's like the one dream I can remember. There's like 3 dreams that I can remember, and that's one of them because it was like so scary.
Yeah.
Even
like
the fact
insane.
about forgetting. Well, the fact about like forgetting them is scary too, because
Yeah.
like you know how like they're real in the moment. They're real in the moment, but they happen every night.
But your brain is getting rid of the irrelevant stuff, so that's why you forget, because you shouldn't remember.
But
like,
it's
why
like-
would you remember?
It's like being like transported to like some kind of like alternate universe, because you
Yeah.
like
Where
because
does
like
it go?
anything that you experience like every day, you would like okay, you get like the rhythm, you know that it's part of real life, but like you get transported to this like not real whole universe that your mind builds every night for you.
Yeah.
I also think like another weird analogy for it is, you know, like some old like trucks or maybe like someone's computer, like it just does that, like you have to turn it twice.
Yeah.
That's like a dream is like that's just our body's like weird quirk, like we make weird things when we
just does
sleep.
that.
It
Yeah,
just does
yeah.
that. I don't know. I don't think there's definitely like in my perspective there's no like deep meaning. It's not like predicting the future or
No, yeah, I don't think it's
Oh, yeah,
deep
yeah.
some
meaning.
people really like
Some people are into
go
it.
crazy
I'm
about
not.
how, yeah.
But of all like the bodily functions, like we blink, we sneeze, you know, and then we also like create crazy like stories in our head while we're
Yeah.
unconscious.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's like our kind of like our quirk, I guess.
Like there's no other thing that's like that we do.
Yeah. Well, you were talking about like what's the code of a thought? Like how do you put storage?
Yeah, like
To
I mean, there must be
thoughts.
neuroscientists who like map someone's brain while a dream is happening.
Someone knows this shit.
They do.
That we literally it's like I'm so glad that's happening.
I kind of
we're
want to
not doing
like
it.
get
someone else gets to
get
do it.
those like wire things on and take a nap.
Yeah.
And like do that and see what they say about it. Like, oh, you're thinking this and this. Like you're, I don't know.
If I was in a lab and they said fall asleep so we can measure you, there's no way I would ever fall asleep.
I had to do this thing where
That's true.
they were like testing me for seizures or something or like epilepsy or
Oh
something.
really?
And I had to get all these things hooked up to my head, and they like flashed things in my eyes, and it sucked. But it has nothing to do with what we're talking
And
about.
it changed who you are as a
Yeah,
person
I'm
today.
now different, so.
I don't have seizures anymore, so
Yeah.
that's good.
What are your recurring dreams that you have?
So that like the one where my dad's trying to kill me, that's happened a couple times. And then there's another one.
Wait, but what is that one like? So like what happens in it?
Okay, so I just like I don't really know like why I ever dreamt this in the first place, but my sister and I were both like my dad was trying to kill us both, and I just like we run into the bathroom in my old house, and she's like trying to shut the door, and, like my dad's hand is like coming through the door with like a knife or something, and he's like trying to cut my sister's arm off or
Wow.
something, and I like am trying to save her from like that, and then I always wake up at that point. Like that's the point that I wake up at because
Wow.
I'm so scared.
That's
It's
stressful. I've
intense.
never had a
so,
dream
yeah,
that
so
bad.
I have like I feel like I have like bad anxiety like on a daily basis. So I think my dreams are always nightmares because my anxiety is so bad. Like
Definitely.
it's always like a nightmare. And then my other one is like that robots are like taking over the world, which is like actually happening in real life. So it's
Yeah.
like I'm not really surprised that that's like a recurring dream. That one hasn't happened in a while, but when it does, it scares me like more and more because it gets like realer and realer like
Yeah.
as it goes on. Yeah, those are the two. But there's like a third one that I can remember, but it's not recurring, so that's good.
I mean those recurring dreams sound really stressful to like
Yeah, they
have all the
are.
time.
They are. They are.
I've only ever had one that like left me like seriously stressed out. Like I woke up in the morning and I was like depressed. It was this one where I was at a hospital and my whole family was there, and I was like in like the operating gown and I was like on the table, and the doctors came up to me and they're like, William, you have like some serious heart problems. Like, you're gonna die. And then they said, like, and it was a dream, so it didn't make sense. Like, you're gonna die from this heart thing, but we have an operation to fix it, but it's also gonna kill you, and like immediately. And they're like, I don't know. So like, they're basically like, we're gonna kill you, but like, it's an operation. And they're like, we're gonna start operating in 5 minutes.
And you're like,
and then,
oh my god.
And then I remember my family was. I remember my dad was there, and I was like, we weren't talking. I was just looking at him, and I was just sitting on the table. I was like, fuck. And it was like, I got 5 minutes to just like wrap this whole thing up. And then I remember like the operation was like starting, and I woke up, and I was just like sitting in bed. I was like, that was one of the realest things that happened to me. The realest thing that happened to me that week was that dream.
I love like that imprint of emotion that's still like in your body, like your brain, and you like you wake up and you still feel sad, and then you realize that it's just like.
And it goes away, and you're like, hell yeah.
It's like a buzz.
Even man, you know what that feeling is? Waking up on like Sunday morning and thinking that it was Monday.
Oh my gosh, yes. Dude. Or waking up before your alarm goes off.
That's the best too. I love
that. Like, I literally
feeling.
Love that so
it's like
much.
A big relief.
Especially when it's like sunny outside, because I feel like that's how the time change has been working, where it's like it's just sunny earlier. And I wake up, and like, especially with Pure Barre, I have to get up so early sometimes. So I'll wake up and I'll be like, oh my god, I'm late. And I'll be like running. I'll like jump up out of bed, and then I like look at my watch, and it's like 4 a.m. I'm like, oh hell yeah. Like, I like go back to bed. Like, that's one of those feelings.
I'll see your stories, and like, you would say like, I've only slept in like for like 3 hours. That's pretty like insane.
Yeah.
That can't be good for you, but.
No, definitely not.
Yeah. Do you guys remember that feeling of like stressing about your homework and then remembering that you already did it?
Oh yeah.
I don't think that's ever happened to me, but I can imagine how that would feel.
Yeah.
Or, well, what has happened to me is that like stressing over homework, and then it's like not due until you like
more
when you think it is. Yeah.
Do you remember those nights before like the science project was due, and like you
put
it all off?
Oh my gosh, you like you're like pasting things on those trifold boards.
Yeah.
Printing things.
Do you remember those science fair projects we had to do our last year of middle school in 8th grade for Mr. Edelkind?
Yeah, I wasn't in that class because I'm stupid.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, I forgot. Yeah.
You had to make like a boat, right?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
But like it was like once a quarter we had like a big science project.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I remember like one of the most like panicked moments in my young life still young life, but like young life. Why the hell not? I remember I did the experiment, but I didn't like do any of like the write up. Like I just had the data. And I remember being in band class, and like band class was like 2nd period, and I had that class like 6th period, and just remembering it.
Oh my god.
And I was like, fuck.
That sounds like the worst thing ever.
I had to call my mom and say like, there's a blue folder on the kitchen table, you gotta bring that to me now. And then just like in like the periods like throughout the day, putting together the worst fucking science project. Like all the graphs were like hand drawn, there was no typing, and like it was supposed to be typed. It was supposed to be color coded and everything, just hand drawn, like changing all the data to just make it fit my hypothesis.
You're just trying to get like half credit at this point.
And trying to get. And then I remember he called me out, like he like subtweeted me in class.
Yeah,
and he was like, there was one student who got a C who did not try, and I was like, ugh.
I remember hearing like the things that he would say to you guys, because I wasn't in that class, but I had like lunch with like everyone who was. Yeah. And I was like, that's like, I would literally have such bad anxiety to go into there every day. Like, I'm so glad that I didn't have that class, because I feel like that would just wreck me as a human.
He was very like, very stereotypical like science teacher. Like,
like he just like hated kids and like
he was like really smart. So his kids are like crazy.
Yeah.
Smart.
So where's Josh these days?
Josh,
if you're listening to this,
Jason, when I like went to state science fair, he jumped state science fair and went right to international. Like
that's
just like
unreal,
crazy. Dude.
Yeah. Just smart kids. Yeah. Where did Josh go to school? Does anybody know? We graduated with this kid.
Josh, he's at UF.
Oh, yeah. That's kind of disappointing. I'm a little disappointed in you, Josh, if you're listening.
I feel like he could, like, I'm sure he has the credibility to do better or whatever. Like, yeah. But I think that, like, fits him to, like, go to UF.
That's where everyone that's, like, above average in
high
school
I
goes.
think that's something that pisses me off. I want those above average kids to go to even better schools.
Yeah.
So that
the
I don't have to feel like this going to FSU.
Yeah.
I mean, not like regardless of wherever Josh is, I think people that go to UF just like do well in school and follow the rules and do some
And
cool
then get,
extracurriculars.
like, yeah.
The people that go to Ivy Leagues, at least the ones that I have known or know of, like have something special. They like can play every instrument,
Yeah.
or you know
And
what
they
I mean?
love it. Oh my gosh, they love college.
like,
Like that's the college experience I'm looking for. Harvard.
They're not just there because they're really smart. They're like gifted at a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what makes like
You have to do like something, like you have to like discover the cure for
You
cancer
kinda have
in
to-
high
yeah,
school
you
to
know you're
go
going
there.
to Ivy, like it wasn't a surprise that Megan went to Emory. Like Emory's a really good school too.
I've like never heard of that school, and I felt like so
It's a
uncultured.
really
Like
good school.
when she said like that she was going there, I was like, I'm sure that's a great place. Like
It's
I
crazy,
totally believe that you're like
Yeah.
super smart, but
That is right.
and I stood behind her in line.
Yeah.
I mean like.
Come on.
Come on, and now I'm at USF. Like this is, you have to be like stupid to get into there.
Johnson Jones. Wow.
Well, yeah, and she was second, now it's third.
You know,
Oh,
it must be
yeah,
a
that's right.
really cool place to like go, because we all went to like really big schools, like one of those like liberal arts ones, you know, because like but like
Wofford.
no,
No, you're talking about
Oh my gosh, I visited Will there,
Yeah.
and like I had the time of my life. Like I was like, I want to transfer
Really?
here. Like this is like it was so cute because it was so small. But, like, I was also just complaining about how small USF was and how, like, clicky. But I feel like people there are just different. Like, people that live in South Carolina or, like, move there, they're just nicer and they don't care, like, about the same. Like, there was, like, 4 sororities there.
Oh yeah.
And
so
I was
it's
like...
you really like South Carolina, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
my sister lives there. And, like, I was like, this is the cutest. And, like, Will knew, like, everything there was to know about the whole school. Like, he
don't
knew,
doubt
like,
it.
all the history. He gave, like, me and Avery, like, a full-on tour.
Yeah.
We went there because we were up there for Pure Bar training, and Wofford was, like, right across the street. So we could, like, literally walk there. And he just knew, like, everything. And I was like, this is the college I want to go to.
He said, like, that Spartanburg's kind of, like, bougie, right? Isn't it like...
It's like it's very historic. I don't
Yeah.
know. I just like see him there, like,
Yeah.
because he's always been like good at history.
Yeah.
I'm like the opposite. Like I don't know anything. I'm like a.
Kanye West said, like, 2 days ago, like, what if they had, like, they should have future class, and I keep thinking, I don't, like, necessarily agree with him, but that's, like, interesting, like, what would you teach in future class?
future class.
Like, why do we...
That was a class about future.
He was talking about, about Future the rapper.
Yeah.
he was talking about, that, like, that we should be teaching real-life stuff, so, like, instead of having history class, we should have, like, present class, so, like, teaching, like...
Yeah.
I mean, it's...
Fuck that. Present class is outside. That's not
I
a
know.
class. That's just what's
I'm not
happening.
saying I agree. I'm just like giving
He's just
you what he's saying.
explaining it. Yeah.
And then he's saying like future class, which he didn't have an explanation for. Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
There's already so much debate
kinda
about
cool.
the past, even more debate about the future. I mean, the present. Like, everyone's interpretation of the present's different. How are you going to have one guy teach that?
I think future class is
One
like
guy.
you got to be like an engineer. Like you just become Elon Musk or like
Yeah. Elon Musk would be the perfect person to
he's
teach
like
that class.
he's like he's in future class right now.
Yeah, he's in a different planet
Yeah.
for sure.
Actually.
I remember, like, I don't know, just, like, you talking about Kanye West's tweets just made me think about, like, this one tweet that I saw that was, like, this guy gave a speech about Kurt Cobain. So he, like, thought it was about Kurt Cobain. Like, the guy who's in Drink in My Cup.
Yeah.
But it was about Kurt Cobain. Like, do you know who that is? And he
Yeah.
was, like, he was crying. And I was like, damn, I didn't know he went kind of hard in the Drink in My Cup song. But then it wasn't about him.
Yeah.
That's just what I thought about. Off topic a little bit.
No, it's good that you mentioned it.
Yeah.
More than anything, you're just oblivious to what could have been. Yeah, and it becomes kind of like how people treat caffeine. More like
It's like how people... Oh, you go ahead, though.
no, you go. I don't care.
It's like how people treat their phone, you know? Because they're, like, not comfortable with just being. And
Yeah.
then so they're like,
That's
oh, well,
so true.
I gotta always be high, or I gotta always be, like, entertained by my phone. Because I can't just sit in a room, or else I'm gonna get uncomfortable.
That's true. Like, I found that about myself. Like, I get anxious and I, like, look at my phone. And that is, like, so bad. Like,
I do
I'm,
too.
like, I feel like I'm constantly, like, if I'm not being entertained by, like, somebody having a conversation with me, like, I'm on my phone. Which
Yeah.
is, like, so weird.
It's very odd, and it's something I feel, especially at school, because I'm not super social. If I like see someone I kind of know and don't want to say hi,
You'll just look at
Yeah.
your phone.
It's like, but what does that mean?
Yeah.
I'm still like, it's not like I'm like putting a cloak over me. I'm just looking at my phone. So.
It's like escaping to this, like, weird like fantasy or like not
Digital
real
space.
world, and I feel like your life becomes less rich for it because you're not having like you're not in the real world. I remember I read this book called The Path to Enlightenment by I really like
Wait,
sound like the
no.
college kid.
I know about that book, though.
I read this book called The Path to Enlightenment, and he talked about meditation a lot in it. And then I looked up like the benefits of like meditation, and it's a lot about like stopping like your inner thoughts and like just like having like your like mind be like blank. And I've noticed because like in the past year and stuff I've seriously like cut down on my phone use.
Mm-hmm.
It's about like being comfortable with your interior dialogue, and like so like if you put your phone down, like I notice it the most when I'm trying to go to sleep. Like I'm trying to go to sleep, I like my phone's away, and my thoughts just won't shut up. Like I'm so like uncomfortable with these thoughts that are in my head, but all the time now, like pretty much every day, like I'll like set aside like a big block of time, like 4 or 5 hours, or like I leave it at home, or like I don't use it, or I put it away. And I've noticed like I've become a lot more comfortable with like that interior dialogue that's always going on in my head. Like, and especially I've noticed it a lot when I'm trying to go to sleep now, because like instead of me like whenever there's not something to do being entertained, I have to be, I'm just stuck with my thoughts, or I'm at the gym or in my car and there's nothing going on. I'm just stuck with my thoughts. It's like I can grapple with them a lot better when I don't have any outs.
That's true.
Yeah.
I need to like start doing that because I feel like and it's kind of like a comfort thing to me too. Like I take it everywhere. Like it's always in my hand, even if I'm not using it. Like that's so weird. Like anywhere that I go in the house, like in my own house, like point A to point B, like my phone's in my hand. Like I don't need it for anything, and I'm not even looking at it, but it's like always there.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Jobs didn't know what he did though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, or whoever it was. That
He made a bunch of money. Yeah, it wasn't Steve Jobs. It was some guy.
Other guy.
Steve Jobs told him to.
No, I'm talking about like the first like smart. I don't know if the iPhone was his first smartphone. It might have been, but
it was the game changer.
It was definitely the game changer, and like now it's not. It's not like you have a choice to have a smartphone. Like this is like.
It's like you need it.
It's something that's part of society, which is insane how you create that.
And it's so sad, yeah. It makes me sad, and I wonder like what it would be. I mean, there would be something that would replace it.
Yeah.
In any like circumstance, so it doesn't really matter. But I don't know. It's just like picturing my life without one, especially like I don't know if you guys can remember like your first iPod.
Oh yeah.
Like back in the day.
Yeah.
Like even that, like you needed an iPod, you needed an iPad, you needed like I didn't get a cell phone until I was in 8th grade, and I like hated my mom for it. I was like, everyone has one. Like I need to text my friends, and you like think about like your conversations that you had like.
So
what are you doing like WRUD?
Yeah.
Like
hi.
Hi.
When I was in Portugal recently, I did that like exactly what you're talking about. I went 3 full weeks without even touching it, and it was I'd get home at like 5 p.m. and there'd be nothing to do.
Yeah.
Fuck.
We need that.
So what are we on?
I'd get home and there'd be like nothing to do, and I'd be like sitting there at night, and it'd be like 9 p.m. but it was like Monday night, so there's like nothing to do.
Yeah.
Like I guess I'll read a book or something. Like I felt like I was in like 1940 all the time, and where it felt like the realest was when I would go into town and stuff without my phone. I'd just like yell in the house like, "Okay, I'm leaving. I'll be back eventually."
Yeah.
And I found that I talked to people so much more because like that was the only thing to do.
Yeah.
I like always go out with my phone like basically dead, and but I've realized, I mean, that's a really cool like perspective, I think, with like the whole like 1940s thing, and like you just go and expect to be back. Everyone's gonna expect you to be back, and you don't really have like a trace of where you are, which is like really nice. But I also really, people talk negatively about smartphones, but they're nice for that reason. Like someone always knows where I am, which is important, and then I learn a lot from having my phone on me all the time.
Oh yeah, like if you think about like going back to what we were saying earlier, like I don't need to see the Statue of Liberty. Like just thinking about how connected you are to like the world.
It's
like important. I can like you followed that guy on Snapchat that lives in a different country. Like you would never be able to know like what somebody else is doing in another country if you didn't have.
I think about what we get for like the exchange though of being connected. Like I mean on the drive home, like tonight, we could go look up anything we wanted to and learn anything. But I think about, like, what do you give up for that in exchange for knowing that? Like, you could know, I mean, you can go look at pictures of the Statue of Liberty, but you miss out on a moment in, like, in this real life happening right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know, if it, I mean, it's such, like, low risk thrills, but, like, when you leave your phone, you're like, no one can contact me. Like, if I get lost, I'm just lost.
Yeah.
Me and Simon, I remember one time, it was like midnight, and we went out to get chicken at FSU, and then
That's how it goes around there.
Went out to get some chicken.
St. Mark's is a city that's like an hour south, and we're like, and we didn't have our phones because it was like a thing, like, let's go without our phones.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were just like, fuck it, let's go all the way to St. Mark's just for fun, and we did. And we're all the way down there, and, like, we were so lost. We were, like, lost in the woods, and then we got lost in Tallahassee, like, trying to get back. But, like, I still remember it, like, so much. And I remember, like, I had to, like, think back to, like, my Boy Scout days, and I was, like, looking at the stars. I was like, okay, well, that's west, so we got to go this way now. And I just remember, like, it felt like we were in a movie. Like, I felt like I was like, well, where are we? And, like, how are we gonna get, like, I hadn't been lost in so long, but, like, I feel like being lost was, like, such a big thing of, like, just being a person up until, like, 2010, and then people, like, weren't getting lost anymore because they, just had maps.
Well, I think we're coming from, like, we're on, like, a nice golden pedestal of that, like, we think it's fun to get lost. Like, fuck that. Like, people had to get lost every day, and, like, it's like, obviously, it's fun to do these things because we didn't have to do them, but I think our phones are great. Like, I'm pro cell phone, but it is shitty that,
cell phone.
They make us gods.
Yeah, they make us, like, unstoppable. Like, I can do anything with a phone in my hand. I can, like, create stuff. I can, obviously, go anywhere and then call anyone.
It's weird. It's like we're all, like, supermen now. But it's like, our brains, like, aren't built to deal with it. Because, like, completely unfounded with no data. But, like, I feel like life in general, like, has become so much more empty. Because people can just go and get, like, this kind of watered down version of life just coming through videos and stuff in their own bedrooms.
Yeah.
Instead of, like, and like, being a god, like, makes you, like, you don't get that, like, struggle, but, like, that, like, day-to-day struggle is, like, when you look back, like, oh yeah, that's what life was. Like, I think about how I can know everything, talk to everyone, and see everything all the time. And, like, it just eliminates so many struggles that, like, make up, like, a culture, like, of, like, interacting with people.
Podcast idea, you bring someone on here who's, like, still alive, that was old enough to, like, grow up without a cell phone
that
or, like,
guy.
anything. And then you bring, like, a 10-year-old in.
Oh, man,
and they both talk about, like, their life, like, from, like, 10 and under.
That would be really cool.
We're a really weird generation because we...
Like, what's the difference? Yeah. Like, see what her or him, like, what their experience would be, like, with the cell phone growing up, like, with technology always. Because, like, kids have cell phones, like, I don't know. They have cell phones, like, super early.
But we're, like, us, like, people, like, within, like, our, like, slim, like, 4 years of age are, like, the change generation. Like, we had, like, the early childhood without them, and then it changed, and then we all got them. Like,
so you can bring your cell phone.
Yeah.
To just talk about it. William, get William on the podcast.
I mean, okay, so, like, the whole, like, 90s kids, like, before us, they had, like, their, like, coming of age years without it, and then they got it as, like, adults. Like, we're...
The MySpace years?
Yeah.
When we, I guess, are, like, set in our, like, ways when we're, like, 32, we're gonna be such a different group than those people.
Yeah.
I worry about, like, kids now, because it's only, I mean, worse and better, but, like, it's only getting worse of, like, oh, well, I can just live my life watching this screen instead of, going out and doing those things.
They've been saying that, like, forever. Like, I'm worried about the kids now, like, with video games, or I'm worried about the kids now with electric guitars.
But that's part of the reason why I, like, don't want to have kids. And just, like, that's only, like, a slight part of it.
It makes sense, yeah.
Because, like, I remember, like, my mom tells me, like, we used to go and, like, the only rule in the house would be back before the street lights come on. Like, that's the thing. Like, you don't have a cell phone to be like, hey, come home now. Like, they just rode their bikes home, like wherever they were, and they had to find their way. Like, they didn't have GPS, you know?
Yeah.
And like now kids like don't go outside as much. I mean, like there's pros and cons because like those kids that are on their cell phones could like discover the cure for cancer, you know?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
just stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
It must have no. I mean, you're right about like having the access to the knowledge and stuff, but it must have just been such a more well-rounded childhood, you know, to be out there doing things instead of watching things.
Well, you're just exposed to more information. It's like information overload versus like experience overload.
Yeah.
Like, and I know you're obviously on the experience side, but we're like more engaging. We're more like. I mean, obviously the bell curve of like that's all being shifted up. Like everyone's just.
What do you mean
smarter.
by more engaging?
Like we have like if we're talking, and you say something I don't know about, I can like look it up and
research it
and bring something else to the table instead of just being like, oh, what's that about? Can you explain it to me?
And like then you only get like his perspective on that topic too.
And it's just like builds and like we have deeper. This is honestly me. Like a professor was talking about this, like this whole the more engaging thing. And he's the head of communications at FSU. He's like a legend, but he was my speech professor. He was like, and he's a very old, like classic guy, but he's like, yeah, like phones have changed the way you guys. He's been a professor for like 30 years, and he even says it like, and I agree. I before I even had his class, way before, I think phones are like awesome, and they make everyone smarter. Whether it's real smart.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. You're right about being able to like, continue a thought and like build off of it because you have access to all the information.
That is why I bring it up.
But on the other side of the coin, and in my own life, maybe it's just because I'm always talking about boring things. I feel like this. What happens to me a lot more of the time is like I'll be saying something and someone will be like, yeah, and they like, get on their phone and just like.
That's true.
Start looking at like something else, and like in that way, people are less engaged.
Yeah, I can't stand when I'm like trying to talk to someone and they like aren't listening.
It's
like
happened.
That makes me so angry.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about tonight, but it's happened on this podcast in the short time that it's been on. We've been like in this podcast they're here for the explicit reason for us to all talk to each other, and I've seen people just like kind of drift off and like check their phone while the conversation's going on with other people.
Yeah.
It's like to that, level. And I know they're not researching other topics.
I mean, I did it tonight, and I'm not going to lie to you, but I was, just texting someone. And as I've stayed, I think, engaged, so.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, I think it makes us better. It's just like it's like putting batteries in a batteryless human.
We're going to have to put up a Twitter poll for this.
Twitter poll as like a Instagram story poll.
Yeah.
I love those.
Like they have those?
I love engaging my fans on the Instagram.
I made it my goal like 2 months ago. Not a goal. That's not what I'm saying. Like I guess like a thing. I vote in every single one that I see. Even if I don't know them at all. I just vote in every single Instagram poll. And
I love those. I love them. I love seeing what people respond. I love when people too that I don't talk to, so like you were just saying, like vote on it. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like I don't even like really know you, but like that's cool that you said that. My puppy is cute. Like I love that about you.
You're like the opposite of like a regular voter.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
I can't wait for you to like next election, just like everything down the ballot. Yup, nope, maybe.
Yeah.
Vote no on Amendment 2, yes for this guy.
I think just exercise it as much as you can. Not even like the right to vote, but just like have your opinion, like and have it be unique. Like people are scared to be themselves.
Yeah. Because everyone
you should read
gets
books at the
triggered
lunch table.
Over everything.
Read books
these
at the
days.
lunch table. Shit in the fucking street.
Shit in the street. Let someone vlog you while you shit in the street. I mean,
read a book as you shit in between two parked 1974. No, what? Yeah, 1974
Who's driving
Fiestas.
Those?
I feel like that's like the final word.
Yeah, I feel that way too.
Shit in the street.
It's an order.
Shit in the fucking street. Bye.